Good morning, everyone. This is Mark Fuller. Free World Order, another video archive. Thank you all for watching and listening and supporting the Free World Order. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel, for liking the Facebook page, and for supporting us financially through contributions. We're looking to raise $1 billion to build the first resource-based city on the planet that uses the resources of the planet instead of money in order to provide for all human beings in the city. We can then take that blueprint and duplicate that city once we build the first one and do it over and over again. Basically until the world is in the same position where we're not relying on a system of mathematics and money, but rather relying on the intelligent management and the intelligent behavior to back up utilizing the resources of our planet effectively in order to provide for all people. Sounds like a crazy idea, but it is something that is better than what we're doing now, for sure. Before I get into my topic, well, let me take a sip of this coffee first. What if all human beings could live the life that they wanted to? This is a very interesting topic to consider. I already know what most people will probably say. Oh, well, there's not enough on the earth to go around for everyone to live like that. People will overconsume. People will want more than they need. And this may be factual based on the way that we operate and function within the current system. But the one thing that we have scientific evidence of is that when you change the conditions that people are living in, you ultimately change their behavior. So the behavior of wanting more than you need comes from the perpetuation of the system that we're currently living in, because we're living in a system that is using scarcity in order to push resources in one direction, meaning those with money are able to obtain everything that they could ever want or imagine having. And those without money are not able to even live a decent standard of living within this system. If you're relying on money from the government or from the welfare system, that's a limited income. If you're relying on money, if you're a senior and you're getting Social Security, that's a limited income. If you're earning some type of disability income, that's a limited income. If you have a job where you're working 40 hours a week, whatever you earn on the job, it's a limited income. Now, the few people that are able to amass large amounts of money to the point where they can't ever spend it all, for the most part, these people are able to experience life on that level where they can live way beyond the spectrum of what the average person actually needs in order to live a decent life or to live an enjoyable life. Now, many people make do without all of the things that equate to material wealth and to, prosperity within this system. Usually you associate success in this system with, luxury cars, big houses, mansions, nice lofts, big ass apartments and condominiums, multi-level property, big ass closets full of clothes and shoes. These are images that are pushed out to people that look at rich people. So when you see rich people, those are the things that you associate being rich with. Now, the system inherently creates conditions all throughout wherever there are people that are operating within the system, within the confines of the system that we're using. Monetary system. They say a free enterprise system, although it's not actually a free enterprise system because there's government intervention when it comes to money. So it's not a fully free enterprise system at all. And it's definitely not a resource-based system. On the other hand, what it is a mathematical money debt-based system that pushes and forces things upon you, not directly. It's an indirect force that is pushing out images and, ways of viewing things. Like I just associated, when people look at rich people, they automatically are looking at people that have a bunch of cars, a bunch of houses, mansions, et cetera, et cetera. All of this stuff that's affiliated with, or associated rather, with material wealth. So because of that, when I say what I said initially when I started the video, which is, what if all human beings were able to live the life that they wanted to? Now you automatically associate that with, everybody's going to want to be rich. And then you automatically associate being rich with all of the material, extravagant desire to have all of these excessive things. Oh, well, I'm not, I'm rich, so I don't have no limitations. I'm living like a king. Kings lose crowns. Think about it. Kings lose crowns. And the idea of living like a king is perpetuating the selfish, self-centered behavior that comes with having excessive access, or I should say, having access without limitation, which ultimately leads to excessive behavior. Because you know that you can get anything that you want to have. You ultimately do things so extravagantly that you create what people see and associate with being rich, which is excessiveness. 50 cars, not 1 or 2 cars. 5 houses, not 1 house that you live in. Mind you, you can't be in all 5 houses at the same time. So you're creating waste ultimately because you're not able to make use of things to their full potential, simply because you can afford to obtain things beyond what you need. And, beyond whatever your needs are as a rich person within this system. So once again, it leads back to behavior. And this is a very important part of integrating the resource-based system that I talk about all the time, which the Venus Project has gone into thoroughly. And they also incorporate behavior into the equation because you have to. When the conditions are better for people, they behave differently. So if people, for the most part, are able to have access to the essentials of life, I'm not talking about 20 cars. I'm not talking about 5 cars. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about having 5 houses. You know that there's no need for you to have 5 houses. And if everyone is given access to the things that they want, then you have to ask yourself, well, why would I actually want 5 houses when I can live in 1 house? And if I want to travel somewhere, I would have access to another house when I go to travel somewhere else. And this is what the resource-based system is more like, where you're given access to things instead of put in a position to have to acquire money, which is not even a real thing, but we're making it real in the system that we're using it in. because we're applying the system to the actual real world that we live in, where things are given access to us based on how much money we have. So the amount of money that you have will determine the quality of things that you can buy, things that you can purchase. And then the things that are made available for you to purchase are produced allegedly through the free market enterprise system, or the capitalism. That's how things are produced. Entrepreneurs create products and services to offer people, and the price is based on the people's desire to pay for whatever that thing is. And whether or not they produce that product is determined by the cost to produce it. So if the cost to make it is less than the price people are willing to pay, it creates that profit margin, and then it makes it worth it for entrepreneurs to make whatever that product is. That's how the capitalism works, and the free market enterprise. But regardless of what, the point that I'm making is that if every human being on the earth was able to live the life that they wanted, meaning whatever that life means to you, but not from the perspective of the way that we perceive things within the system that we currently live in, because it's an artificial system that has been impressed upon us. Like I said, you're looking at rich people in this system. Well, naturally, it's a disproportionate amount of wealth that moves to rich people. So naturally, they're going to live an extravagant lifestyle because there's nothing stopping them. Money is not in the way of preventing them or prohibiting them from spending it, from obtaining things that are available. Someone is selling something, they want to buy it, they buy as many of it as they want to because they're rich. But again, this is not realistic when you actually look at things from the perspective of, you know what if every human being was not restricted by a system that keeps things from you and doesn't give you access to things, because there's nothing measuring what you have access to based upon something that you've acquired in your hand, which is the money part. What if you were just given access to everything and things are made available based upon the actual resources of the planet that are available? So we'll know based on a survey, based on information and data that's collected, what resources are available, and then we can produce and manufacture things based upon the resources that are available. And also, the system accounts for recycling the things that we use so that we don't have to exhaust the resources. This is another part of the resource-based system. So it's something that's definitely worth looking into. It's something definitely worth examining. And my goal through the Free World Order is to raise this $1 billion that I keep talking about, because that's right around the amount that's necessary in order to build the first city. Resources will be acquired with that money. The things needed to produce clean energy, food, housing, etc., is what will come from that money. So we're using money to actually create a moneyless society. That's really the basis of what I'm talking about. So, contrary to what people might think or associate with why somebody's trying to raise money for something, oh, well, he's trying to raise money, he wants to rip everybody off. Rip everybody off for what? I mean, for what purpose? I talk about exactly what it is that I'm trying to accomplish by utilizing what the Venus Project has already laid out. And there are other projects also that are out there in information, but the Venus Project has specific ways of going about using science and technology to create robotics, automation, systems. It's like looking at things from a systems approach, changes the dynamic of what actually can be done. Because if we look at things that way, then we'll know that all of the elements necessary for us to have a way of life that is abundant will be included in what's built from the very beginning. So things are not wasted. What we call waste is actually going to be used for something inside of the system. That's not what we have right now. We have a tremendous amount of waste in this current society. We waste food. We're using carbon fuels when we don't have to. That is a terrible waste, because it's creating and producing waste in our atmosphere and waste in the water and in the environment around us, which ultimately is not healthy for the animals, for nature. So we fucking up the planet, we fucking up nature around us, all for the basis of profit and being able to earn a living within the system of money. What the hell is the point? But, anyway, I make these videos, like I said, every day. I explore different perspectives, really, of the same thing, which is the resource-based system versus what we're doing now. It's not utopian. It's not heaven on earth. I mean, not yet. But it's the closest that I've seen to it. So it's definitely worth looking into. But in any case, make sure that you subscribe, like us on Facebook, and contribute to us financially with a monthly contribution plan. You can start with as little as $1. The link for that will be in the description box below this video on YouTube, and it'll be on the post on Facebook. And that's pretty much it. So Mark Fuller, Free World Order. You guys think about the shit that I talk about, man. It's serious stuff. We're talking about changing the dynamic of the way that people can live on our planet, not just live wherever we are right now, wherever you are right now. I'm not just talking about the community where you live at. The entire earth is a community. The entire earth is your God-given right for you to enjoy the abundance that is on this planet. And for people not to be able to experience that is a problem. It means that we're using systems that are preventing people from being able to be part of the Earth's ecosystem. Science, technology, innovation, all of these things that come into existence and bring new inventions and things that make life easier along with them, that should be available for every person, period, without exception. Instead of us building and manufacturing guns and all type of nuclear bullshit, weapons, for what purpose? We need to change the conditions that people live in, and the behavior that people exhibit will change. Can't change people's behavior by giving them handouts and giving them just enough to survive. It obviously doesn't work. But anyway, I'm out. Mark Fuller. You guys take care. Peace and love. God bless.